everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Kaye, and today we are doing this nice, just flattering Thanksgiving makeup look. I hope you all enjoy it, and if you do any recreations, make sure to comment down below, or not comment down below, but just make sure to tag me. And also comment down below what your favorite Thanksgiving food is. Like if you like stuffing, if you like turkey, pie, share that down below as well. I also have terribly self-tanned hands, so I'm sorry. They're so much darker than the rest of my face. What I did was I just put on way too much self-tanner because I wanted to make sure it was all blended, but there was just too much product on there, so my hands just soaked it up. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video and have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family or friends or spouse or whoever you're spending it with. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Hello everyone, I'm Kaye. Welcome back to my channel. So today I decided that it could be good to do a Thanksgiving sort of makeup tutorial, so that's what we're doing today. I decided we're gonna start on the eyes first, and I'm not using any like new palettes or anything because frankly I think it's good to just make do with what you have. You don't need every new palette that comes out. Like if you see one you like, sure, get it by all means, but just know that you can probably create pretty much any look with a lot of the palettes you already have. So today we are doing a kind of like a soft glam Thanksgiving look, nothing too overpowering, and we're also switching it up today with a side part. I just wanted to change up my look. I'm thinking I want to change my hair. I've been red for over 5 years now, which is crazy, like all shades of red. I've been dark red, I've been bright red, I've been copper, I've been like purpley red, pretty much every shade, and I'm thinking I just want to change, you know, just something different. So right now I'm going to start off with the MAC Soft Ochre Pro Longwear Paint Pot, prime my eyes. And the reason you want an eye primer for your shadows, there are times I use concealer with just a powder on top, and that's fine for everyday wear, I feel like, or if your eyelids aren't very oily. If you're oily, you definitely want an eyeshadow primer because it is specifically made to block the oil on the lid. It's usually more of like a waxy formula or a matte formula, and this just helps keep those shadows in place. Since we're using matte shadows today, I'm going to set down the lid with a powder. That way we get the lasting power of that primer, but we don't have skidding, because that will happen with the matte shadows because the base is tacky, which is great for shimmers, but for matte sometimes it just skids and it's not fun. For the older palette that I'm using, I feel like a lot of people have this one, and you can still get it today if you don't have it, and it's honestly one that whenever I use it, I'm surprised at how good the quality is. Each time I'm like, wow, this palette is so good. Why don't I use this more? So it is the Naked Urban Decay Heat Palette. I love it. I love the warm shadows in it. If warm shadows aren't for you, I think they have some others, like the Naked Reloaded palette. It's just not really warm enough for me, but if you have more of a cool skin tone or you're more fair, this is a good one. For the first shade, I am going to take this shade called Sauced and just load up that brush. This is a JH30 brush, and just popping that into the crease as a transition shade. Just make sure everything's nice and blended later on. Then I am taking a little bit smaller of a blending brush, and whenever I do lessons with clients, they're like, you really use a different brush for each shadow? And yes, I do, because it's just a way to get a nice blended look. I would dare say that the brushes you use are even more important than the types of shadows you use. If you're using one brush for everything, it's all gonna blend together. That's what I did when I first started out with makeup, and I was like,
why doesn't my makeup look like theirs? I feel like I'm doing everything right.
Once I got some blending brushes, I was like, that's why it didn't look like theirs. Okay, so the next shade we are taking is called Low Blow, which is like, it's hard to tell in the pan, I guess, but it's a very nice, almost mustardy brown color in person. On the camera, it's coming off more red. I don't know why, but all right. And this one, I'm just popping into the crease, a little bit lower than the transition shade we just applied, and kind of on the outer corner. I I haven't been going as dark with my eyeshadow lately, and I feel like it just looks so much more flattering. Don't get me wrong, I love a smoky eye, I love a dramatic eye, but just lately I've been liking more of just a natural look. And then I'm going a little bit on the lower lash line. And there you can see it's just nice and blended. And then for the next part, let me show you. Okay, so for the next part I'm taking, whoops, how many things can I drop today? What is my deal? Anyways, I'm taking this small pencil brush and I'm dipping into En Fuego, which is like a nice maroon shade. And just going on the outer half of the lid. So this helps make the lashes look a little more full. And also I like to bring it up to that corner. This also makes it look like our eyes are kind of upward instead of downturned, I guess. You can kind of see the difference here. And you can't totally tell that it is purple on the lid, like just looking at me from here. It really enhances brown eyes. If you use more of like the warm shades with blue eyes, that will enhance them too, because it'll just make them look even more blue. But I like doing these colors because it makes the brown eyes look a little more honey brown. And then for the inner corner, I'm taking the shade Ounce. It's not that dramatic looking, like it's not a super bright frost, but it's this nice pretty satin shade. See how this eye just looks nice and defined and this one just kind of blank sitting on the lid? And that didn't take me very long. Granted, I'm talking and all of that stuff. The next step is liner. And so I'm just taking a roll-up pencil. You can take any pencil. This is just the one that I grabbed. It's the Bobbi Brown Perfectly Defined Gel Liner in Pitch Black. And I'm just lining my tight line, and sometimes I'll kind of go in between the lashes so it all blends together nicely. So you can see this eye looks nice and defined, but it's still not overpowering. Like, you're not like, she's wearing a ton of eye makeup. You wouldn't really think that, but here's kind of that difference there. There are the eyes, and then I am going to do the other eye and apply mascara, and then I will be back to show you the rest of the face. Okay, so I decided to add just a dark lower lash line. I just felt like it needed it, and I just always love how that looks. So I added that on there, but that's totally optional if you don't want to do that. So let's move on to the face. I am using the e.l.f. Putty Primer as always. This is nothing new. I love this stuff. And also, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the foundation video. That one was really fun to film. If you would like to see more collection videos, let me know. I think I'm gonna do one on eyeshadow palettes next, because it's just kind of fun to film and kind of like go over and walk through memory lane and see what I loved. But yeah, just thank you guys for all of your support and comments on that. I love you guys, thank you. For the face, I am going to be using both of these. So this isn't a foundation, it's not technically a primer either. It is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, which if you look at it, it kind of has this pearlescent shine to it in the bottle. It might be hard to see on camera. This I'm going to be applying underneath the Juvia's Place foundation because it kind of counteracts how olive the Juvia's Place one is. So what I like to do is I just apply it on the cheeks because I don't like how a shiny forehead looks, frankly, and a little bit on the nose. You can put it on the forehead though if you like that look. I prefer matte because that's where I tend to get oily. Just taking my sponge. These I got on Amazon. I'll see if I can find a link for you guys. As always, if I miss any products, everything is linked down below so you can click on it. So I'm just applying this on the back of my hand, which, ooh, that might have been a lot. I always forget how far this foundation goes. And then I'm just scooping a little bit onto the back of my hand. The things I love about this foundation are, one, how full coverage it is, obviously. And I also like how it lasts. I like that it's not too matte. Like the formula is matte, but I feel like it's pretty creamy, like it doesn't dry down to like a drying, crusty full coverage look. And then I'm also just using the sponge so it's not as full coverage. This will kind of soak it up. And then for concealer, I'm taking the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo. This one I don't like blended with a brush because it makes it kind of streaky and textured looking. So with the Hydrating Camo Concealer by e.l.f. specifically, you have to use a sponge. I don't know why that is, but it's just like the product, maybe it's the way it dries or something, I don't know. But I love how the finish of this one looks, and I love the color of this one because it's nice and peachy. And then I always like to almost overblend my foundation, and it also makes sure that you don't skip over any areas, because there are times where I get in the car and I'm like, oh no, I forgot to blend that. And then I've been enjoying baking lately. I don't always, but when I do, that time is right now. So this is the Beauty Bakery Flour Better Not Bitter powder. I always use this powder because I love the packaging, because you can turn it, let's see if I can show you. Oh, there we go, yay. So you can turn it to close it. Of course, the semi has to pass my house right then, so that it stops letting powder out. Because I have so many products where they don't have that, and I just have so much powder at the top. And it's so annoying, because if you're traveling and stuff, your powder isn't always just sitting this way. It's, you know, flipping over and stuff is falling out. So I love the packaging, and I love the product of the powder as well. And then I like to kind of shake it so it's all even in there, at least as even as it can be. And then tap it on underneath the eye. And I guess this isn't really baking, we're just setting, because it's just a small amount of powder, we're not doing the whole shebang. Here is where I always get oily. I don't know why. My chin. And yeah, so that's where I like to set the heaviest, and then I'll just go in with a big brush, with whatever's, it looks like a lot of powder's in there, but there's really not. And just go like this with the brush, make sure it's evenly distributed in there so you're not getting splotches of powder, because sometimes if you just go like that and go in, you'll have lines of where the powder is. So just really work it into the brush and then set it. And the reason I do it this way is because if I were to set it that heavy with my whole face, this area of my cheek gets really dry, and with all of that powder it would just look a little intense. So I just set heavier in the areas that I need it, and then just softly go over in the areas that are more dry. For bronzer, I'm going in with my favorite, the Bobbi Brown Golden Light Bronzer. Bobbi Brown just has the best colors as far as bronzers go. And I'm not going too low on the cheekbone, I'm actually going higher up. I'm going on the forehead and just the sides of the forehead. Also running down this, because sometimes this just looks too light here. And then just the cheekbones, once again, just keeping high. We're going right on the cheekbone instead of underneath. And then because my face is rounder, like when I smile, it's pretty much a straight circle. I just like to kind of take a little bit down here, not as much as we do on the cheek. This just helps, makes my face look a little slimmer. And I'm just going down the nose, on the sides. I notice that contouring my nose sometimes just looks a little too fake, so I don't love it. There's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for everything in makeup, really, but today's not the time or place. And then I like to go underneath the lip, because this makes the lips look like they're bigger, like they're so like voluptuous that they're casting a shadow. And then after that, I just like to go in with my beauty blender. There's not a whole lot of moisture left in here, but this just kind of helps all the products meld together. It just looks a little more natural. For blush, I've been liking a little bit of a glowy blush. I know, kind of surprising. The blush that I'm taking is the Bobbi Brown Santa Barbara blush. It's this really pretty peachy pink shade with some gold reflex in there. It's just so gorgeous. I'm gonna take it on this angled blush brush. This is the Jaclyn Hill JH04, and pop that higher up on the cheek like I always do. And I'm kind of going underneath the cheekbone a little bit too. So I'm taking Chestnut by Laura Mercier. For lipstick, I'm taking the Jeffree Star Gemini Liquid Lipstick. I love this color. I can't find anything that's that similar to it. One that's similar but a lot more expensive is the Bobbi Brown Pink Buff, and this is in a lipstick too. They're pretty much the same, but it's just a really nice pretty brown color with a little bit of red in it. And then I just like to do a thin layer because if you go over this more than once with this color, it can get dry. But I like this because it gives you just enough color, but it's not boring and nude. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's a fun color. It kind of goes with my hair too. Alrighty everyone, so this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this look. If you do any recreations, tag me, I would love to see them. Just a nice, easy, matte, just a very flattering makeup look. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. So next day, oh, I'm getting so tongue-tied. I'm getting tongue-tied, twisted. Ooh, don't want to put my brushes in the flame. Wow.